Hey, fam. If it is Wednesday, it is Wine Lovers Wednesday, and I'm so happy to be here with Kindra Dion. Hey, Kendra, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I am doing well. I have to say I'm a little cold today. Like, you know how you get that chill and you just can't warm up enough? So I
Me,
have that
everything.
going on.
I have a space heater, fuzzy socks, slippers, and you can't see the blanket in my lap, but I feel you. I'm right there with
Yes.
you.
It is like that, and I'm gonna let winter do its thing, but I do have a space heater next to me also. I definitely do. So tell people who you are and what great things. I have to say she is not going to disappoint at all. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. So I am Kendra Dion. I am the owner of 50 Leven Wine. I'm super excited to enter this space in this industry. My background professionally is business and all things development. And I became a member of I say the Unicorn Society because it's not a whole lot of black and brown winemakers in this space. So I always feel like we're just unicorn out here spreading sparkles and pixie dust one wine glass at a time. But I became a member of this industry, this community, this winemakers community. About 2 years ago, we officially went to market selling our products back in October of 2021, but the development started way before that. So I'm just super excited to be here in this space to bring an incredible collection of products to you all and just share it with different people, one glass at a time, making a difference, changing a life, and create new relationships.
There you go. So you are a local girl and you are from Virginia and you are the first Black winemaker in Loudoun County, Virginia. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Born and raised in Richmond. Don't judge me, judge yourself. Every time I tell people I'm from Richmond, I start rolling. They're like, oh, you one of them. Yes, she is.
Oh,
Okay.
did you
All
go to
it is.
VCU? Did
I
you?
did not. I actually went to Winston-Salem State University, SU.
Okay. Okay.
HBCU in North Carolina, not Aggie Pride. I like the Aggies, but SU is where it's at. Hello. But no, I attended Winston-Salem State in North Carolina, and I live here in Loudoun. So I moved here in 2009 and have been here ever since. And I love it. I really do, which is weird, but I do.
That's good. I mean, were you surprised? What was surprising about the area for you?
How monochromatic it is. I'm gonna keep it 100. I
Mhm.
can't sugarcoat it. I can't. Growing up in Richmond, it is very diverse, but it's still very much the South. Living in North Carolina, going to a HBCU, it was what it was. I started out my professional career working in HBCU, so I was surrounded by the culture. I was surrounded by my people. When I first found out that I would be relocating to Leesburg, Virginia, I looked it up online. I was like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I didn't know if it was going to work or not. When I got here, all of the preconceived notions that I had about moving into a community that lacked diversity were dispelled. I was not the
Excellent.
stereotypes that
Mhm.
I had made, because we all have our own form of bias. That wasn't what I met. I met community. I met people who did not look like me, welcoming me in, inviting me into the conversation, being helpful, being resourceful. And it scared me at first. I thought that I was like in an episode of, what is it, The Stepford Wives? I was
Uh-huh.
like, this is not real. This is too good to be true. But it really wasn't. That is the authenticity of this community. And I appreciate that. Yes, it does have its fair share of problems.
Mhm.
Everywhere does. But it was something about this place and this space that I just knew. I felt it. This was going to be my homestead. This is where I was going to set up my roots. And this feels like home to me. I vacation. I love doing things with my people, going to the city, hanging out in DC. But when I come back here, this feels like home to me.
That's great. That's good. So what do you have in your glass this
Oh,
afternoon?
girl, you gonna watch me pour it because I was rushing getting in here today. I am pouring my heritage wine, which is my Bordeaux style red. I'll hold it to the camera so the folks can see it. There we go. This
Yep.
is my American red wine. This is a blend It is Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Petit Verdot. I absolutely love this Bordeaux style. It is a medium body red. It is absolutely delicious. It doesn't give you all that mouth burn, that pucker that you get from the excess tannic acid, which is wonderful. There's no sweetness. Open it up, let it breathe a little bit, pour it in a glass, and have it with anything that you like.
It is, I mean, this is a day for something like that.
Yes, Lord.
Like,
Matter of fact, let me put it in my glass now. Woo, I'm here.
Oh, yeah. Can you hold your glass up to the camera so people can see?
Yes.
Ooh, that is beautiful.
Ma'am. There we go. I can't really see if you can see it. Can you see it? Can you see it?
I can. Yeah, that is a beautiful color. Ooh, it's like, it's inky.
Yes. And it is wonderful on the palate. So you get those dark fruit notes from this one. Oh my gosh. It's absolutely amazing. And it's not just because it's mine. It's because it's delicious. It's the truth. This is my jam right here. I love this one. And the Dolce Zaya in my collection is slightly sweet. That's my, don't judge me, judge yourself. That's my everyday of the week. She just need a little something to take the edge off wine. But any given day, you can find me with some Dolce Zaya open somewhere in my house. So my friends know they'll stop by any day, ring the doorbell, and I got something open that we can sip on together. I call it market research. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's yes, that's what I do. Yeah. I do a lot of market research.
Market research. Yep. Mm-hmm. Quality control. That's what we doing.
I do. Hey, welcome. If you guys have questions for Kendra Dion, or you have questions for me, or comments, or let us know what you're sipping, please put it in the chat, and we will read those comments and share them with you. So you had a very interesting path into wine. You started off as a wine consulting to vineyards and what have you, and you weren't making wine, you were just about the business. Can you tell us how this all came about?
Yeah, absolutely. So my path into it came from a position, several positions that I had working for local government, actually. So when I first started here in this community, I worked for Loudoun County government. There I was in the workforce resource program. So part of my job was to not only help job seekers find their next best position for themselves, but also to help local businesses and industries find their next best candidate for their position, organizing events such as hiring events and opportunities for like informal interviews, meet and greet type things. And here in this community, we have a mixture of tech, biotech, healthcare, government contract, and a lot of agricultural or rural businesses. So as a specialist in workforce and business development, I had to understand all of the industries that fed into the community in order to be able to service them. So it was during that time that I really got to know the agricultural side of our county, the businesses, the key players, what the needs were to kind of help funnel the ideal candidates and skill sets into those workforce environments. It was through that I forged a friendship with a local winemaker who has really become my mentor and my godfather, if you will, in this space. And I'm so grateful for our friendship that was formed way back 2010 when I started doing this work. But yeah, that's kind of how it started for me. That pathway into this industry was providing that type of workforce and business development support for these organizations, and really having an understanding of the wine business and workforce side, and just loving wine anyway. So when time came, he and I would have all these great conversations where I would nerd out and vent to him about the things that I would see people doing wrong with their wine, right? There is really no right or wrong with the wine, except when you don't drink it. That really bothers me. If you have something in your glass, you drink what's in your glass. Yeah. I support that behavior. The other behavior, I do not support. So I would go to all these different events and things, and I would see people not finishing their wine, and I couldn't figure out, what was it? Were they just not wine drinkers? Was it for show? Was it because wine looked classy and sophisticated, so people wanted to be seen holding a glass, even if you weren't a consumer of wine? And I had all of these thoughts in my head, and I needed it to make sense for me. And then I realized I started paying attention. Now, mind you, no professional background or training in wine whatsoever, not in food, not in any of that. business, workforce, HR. That was my world.
Uh-huh.
But I understood people. And I cared enough to understand that what was happening was not necessarily a distaste for wine that was leaving it in the glass, nor was it this, I just want to hold the glass, but I don't want to drink in front of my peers at these networking events. It was more, something weird is happening in my mouth and I'm not sure what's going on, but it's probably the buffalo dip that you're eating with that big bowl dry red table wine that they put in your glass. It's not liking each other. So if we were to be more selective in the wine choice and how that matched up with the food that we were offering at these networking events, seeing that wine level go down in that glass would be more prevalent. And those are the type of nerdy conversations that he and I would have. And so he would ask me questions because he's one of those people, he'll ask you questions before he gives you the answer. He would say, well, what would you do differently? And I started telling him what I would do differently. How would I change it? What would I change with the menu? What would I change with the glass? And he would just laugh at me. He's like, girl, you're a winemaker. I'm like, no, I'm not. You know, I'm just a trash talker. PG for the audience. But I would have said a word with an S. You know what I mean? But that's literally how this thing started for me. And it was through those conversations that we put together a collection that supports and enhances the palate of diverse people and the types of diverse cuisines that we would normally eat. Diverse households, you know, comprise salt, fat, sweet, heat.
Right.
That's where we're going, you know? So that's me. I'm sorry, I'm nerding out, but
no, I think a couple of things. One, I think we should start a campaign: no chicken wings at networking events, because you can't hold the plate, eat off the bone, or try to like gently pull off the bone. So like
and
down
get
with
your
the chicken
swirl
wings
on at the same time.
There you go. You just can't do it. So
we gotta prioritize.
That is number one. Number two is what you are talking about is how the Italians make wine.
Yes.
They make wine, yes, for consumption, but they make wine for the food. So making sure that there is a complement there and not that the wine is this superstar by itself. That totally, like, he was right. You were a winemaker and you didn't even know it. We have a couple of questions that have come in.
Yes, please. I love the questions.
One Facebook person says, I apologize, I can't see the names, but one Facebook person said, let's see if I can post it here. Yes. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah. So they are a sweet wine drinker, and most wines that claim that are sweet aren't my kind of sweet. Do you have sweets available in your collection? And you were mentioning you have dry wines, but you also have sweet wines. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't even know who this Facebook user is, but let me tell you, Facebook user, you are my favorite person right now. Let me talk to you for a second, girlfriend. I'm assuming that you're a female, so we just gonna go with it. Whatever. We're not gonna assign a gender. Let me tell you. So living in the South, yes, Richmond is the South because we're south of the Mason-Dixon line, so I claim it. Living in the South, when I have my dinner, speaking for me, sweet tea, lemonade that's sweet, Kool-Aid, one flavor, red, hello. That's like syrup. Most of the drinks that my family served at dinner was like liquid diabetes, okay? It was sugar sweet. You could taste the syrup. When I would go out when I was younger and I'd go to a restaurant, I'm ordering cocktails and mixed drinks that were sweetened with syrups and all of these different things. So it was like literally drinking a cup of candy. That was what I enjoyed at the time. When it was time for me to switch over to something different or get introduced to wine and people would say sweet, I was expecting something that was not, I'm not going to insult you or anyone else. I was expecting juice that got me tipsy. What I got was something completely different because my palate at the time tasted wine as if I was drinking a cup of pure alcohol with some grapes in it. And the taste wasn't tasting. Okay. Mm-hmm. It wasn't syncing up and I couldn't figure out what it was. what I learned over time, when you look at the residual sugar content in a bottle of wine, when you see something that's under 4% residual sugar, if you are a person who likes your sweet tea to be sweet, like when you taste it, you're like, oh, that's right. You know, if you're that person, when you drink your regular beverages, 4% residual sugar, if you touch 4%, you're going to get that sweetness that you're looking for. If it has higher than that, you're definitely going to find the sweetness that you're looking for. If it's like a 1 or 2% residual sugar and they say that it's sweet, it's not going to taste the way that you expect it. So I know that I'm nerding out and I'm giving you like a prescription for how to order wine, but if you're the type of sweet drinker who likes your juice sweet, your tea sweet, your lemonade sweet, if that's you, if you put more than 2 packets of sugar in your coffee, you're going to want a higher residual sugar content when you get your wine. So when you go to Total Wine or wherever you buy your wine products for, look on the back of that label on that tech data sheet for the RS. You want something that's 4 or better. That's going to give you that sweetness that you want. In my collection, I have one wine that's 4% residual sugar, which is my Dolce Zaya. Now, I will tell you, while that is what most wine drinkers would consider a pretty high residual sugar number on that particular wine, it is a red wine. The base of that red wine is a Chambourcin grape. Chambourcin grapes tend to have a more, in my opinion, just in my opinion, tend to have a more bitter composition to them. So when you add that sugar to it, what it does is it softens that bitterness. So it's not going to be like syrupy sugar sweet. It's going to be like right in the middle, nice and smooth, sophisticated. It gives you those pretty optics for the Instagram photos and everything else. And when you drink it, you will actually enjoy it. And paired with the right food, you won't even miss the excess sugar.
Right.
Now, if you still want it to be sweeter than that, girl, let me tell you, I make these wine smoothies that are the bomb.com. You can add all kinds of stuff to it, but you use wine instead of liquor as the base, and it is amazing. And then you can add some additional components, and nobody will judge you because they won't know, because that's your business, as Auntie Tab says.
Right. If not all wine labels have the RS on there, so you can also look for the alcohol percentage.
Yeah.
And if it is less than 10, it tends to be sweeter.
Yeah.
So if you look for that, it tends to be sweeter than that. And thanks, Kelly. Thanks for asking that question, because I know a lot of people are curious about that, who are sweeter wine drinkers. And so they try to figure out, when they're looking at the label, when they're shopping, what that is.
And also look for things that say dessert wine too, right? It's really popular right now because that wonderful show, Kings of Napa, I love it. I like the drama. It's just like the right amount of drama and scandal for me and my little bit of ratchetness that I still got left in me from Richmond. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit left in me. But you hear people talk about dessert wines a lot more now, and they're starting to ask for dessert wines. If you see something that says dessert wine or dessert style wine, that's usually an indicator that it's going to be sweeter than the others. So if you're in a restaurant or something like that, you look at the menu and you see sparklings, you see whites, you see reds, and you see dessert wines, you're going to want to kind of stay in that dessert wines area. That's going to give you more sweetness than any of the others, probably.
Yes. But I would caution you not to pour a big, don't pour a glass like this, just a little. Because it is. Yeah. You want to, or you will definitely go into a diabetic coma.
Listen, you're going to be out there shaking on the street. Don't nobody want that.
So now you have your wines, and I want you to talk about, how did you come up with the name? How did you come up with?
Oh, girl, you're gonna make the people cry. So each the business name or the individual wine names?
The business name.
The business name.
How'd you get 50 Leven?
50 Leven, girl. 50 Leven. Depending on where you're from, that N can become an M real quick. Leven. That's what my grandma say. 50 Leven, 7-Eleven, everything is Leven. So for me, like, to know me is to love me. My personality, what you see is what you get. I don't put on for anybody. This is who I am everywhere I show up. 50 Leven is something that I say 50 11 times. I participate in a lot of programs in my community. I volunteer. I serve on different boards. I run more than one business. During the pandemic, while recovering from some other health challenges, non-COVID related, I published a book and launched a wine company while still running a business and preparing my daughter for her freshman year in college at the same time. So I literally was doing 50 Leven things at the same time and doing them well, surprisingly. So when it came time to name this company, I had no problem figuring out what the collection was going to be, what types of blends, were there going to be varietals, what were the composition of those things going to be. Like, that was no issue. Coming up with the business, the actual wine names on the bottle and the romance copy on the back of the bottle, no problem. Marketing, got it all day. When my friend and mentor asked me, so what's the name of the company? I was like, huh? He said, what's the name of the company? I was like, you know what, Doug, I got 50 Leven things going on right now. I don't have time. And he was like, well, I've heard you say 50 Leven times. So I think that's the name of the business right there. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Because I do say 50 Leven all the time. That is something that is near and dear to my heart. It is homage to my Southern roots. Those who get it, get it. Those who don't, is still classy enough that it'll pass. But I know a lot of my consumer market shop by label. You know, we go through the store, we walk through, and if there's a label, design, or art that really captures your eye, you're going to double back and look again. You know, not knowing what's in the bottle, it's the label that drives a lot of my consumer demographic to purchase. So I thought that if I put something up there that those who got it, saw it, whether the design was dope or not, the name was enough to make people double back. So I would literally envision it every time I go into Total Wine or Target or wherever alcohol and wine was sold. I would literally take pictures of the shelves and just kind of do a blind study to see which label stood out and which one my eye was drawn to first, right? Seeing Snoop Dogg's face on a bottle, right, was attention grabbing. I'm like, is that Snoop? So nothing else on the shelf mattered. I was immediately drawn into that bottle. And then I was like, how would 50 Leven stack up against it? And I'm like, depends on how country they are. You know, if they walk down the aisle and they saw 50 Leven on the shelf, would they grab it? And I literally conducted some market research and did a focus group from across the United States, just different people. We had about 50 people in the group. And I put some names out there just in a list and say, what pops out to you first? And I literally just started putting up a whole bunch of random things. And 50 Leven was the one that everybody saw. When I put it in this one list, everybody was like, 50 Leven. That popped out. And I was like, that's the name of the business.
That is great.
It's complicated and difficult. I told you my background is BD now. I got you on the business development. But it's really about the people. I just wanted the people to know, you know, this is for you. This is for them. This is for us, you know, and I wanted that name. I wanted it to be a subtle homage. I wanted people who it was designed for to see it and say, oh, I don't know who made this wine, but I'm getting this. That's what I wanted to happen.
Well, I think it does happen. I think it resonates with a lot of people.
I don't know who wrote that. I see it on the screen, but yes, honey, whatever. She ready. I am. I'm sorry. Look, I have flashbacks. Don't judge me. I'm gonna sip some wine. That's classy. That's sophisticated. Remember where I'm at? I'm sorry. I can't even say it's because I've been drinking, because I literally had one sip. Y'all, I'm like this all the time. If you ever go out and drink with me, you're gonna have a real great time. I'm just saying. I am. Sorry.
Which brings me to my next question. Thank you for that segue. So you have your label in Virginia.
Yes.
Do you have a tasting room?
I do not have a tasting room yet. We do a series of pop-up events all over the place. So we've done a lot of events out at Fabioli Cellars. So if you go to my website, 50levencollection.com, and subscribe to our website, you'll see it. Also, if you follow us on social media, at 50 Leven Wine on Instagram and on Facebook, we post the events. As a matter of fact, we're participating in this great event. If you can get down to Richmond, there's the Untold Stories Black Food and Wine Festival in Richmond this Sunday, the 20th.
Oh, wow.
I have it posted on my IG. VIP is already sold out, but you're going to have the best of Black wine and spirit makers, culinary geniuses from all over that'll be there. It's really going to be a dynamic event from 1 to 6 p.m. It's worth every penny. So I'll be there pouring at that event. But we do things like that all over. On, let's see, the next public event that I'm doing is that's not sold out is the 26th of March. There's a young lady by the name of Ashley. I'm so proud of you, Ashley. If you're watching, I'm proud of you, girlfriend. She just opened up 514 Wine and Paint Bar in Dumfries, Virginia.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. Yes.
Amazing. So we're doing an event with her. We're doing a sip and paint day party. So we're bringing in a DJ, a Caribbean chef. We're going to have painting. We're going to have the entire 50 Leven wine collection there. That's going to be awesome from 3 to 6:30. So tickets are available for that right now. But that's the type of stuff that we do. We do private events. We do private parties. We host our own little events. All kinds of things. So child, you'll find us in the streets. Just keep looking. You'll see us. No,
she literally just opened up like this weekend, right?
It was her ribbon cutting was on the 3rd or 4th. I'm probably lying, but it's one of those days because I know I went down there and I gave her a gift bottle as a congratulations. Okay. So, and I met her family. Her family's amazing. They really are.
That is wonderful.
She got 50 Leven kids, but that's okay. That's her business. I'm gonna take
right. That is her business. That is her business. The event is isn't it in Woodbridge?
It's Dumfries. Yep. Right next door.
The paint and sip is in Woodbridge. The Untold Story you said is in Richmond, correct?
In Richmond, yes. So we're stretching out across the state. We're going all over Virginia. So the Virginia ABC doesn't want me to be great, y'all. So they restricted where I can. No, I'm teasing. They have been fantastic. I'm very limited on the states and jurisdictions that I can ship into. So Virginia, DC, Florida, and Alaska. If y'all have cousins in them in Alaska, tell them to order 50 Leven wine because I don't know nobody in Alaska. If you know somebody, help me out.
Do you know, which kind of makes sense because we were looking at Alaska, but we just decided this is not feasible.
Like, how we gonna do this?
The shipping costs more than the wine.
Right.
But Alaska has the highest number of wine drinkers in the United States.
See, listen, I think me and you, Leslie, we should open up a franchise model out in Alaska and make this thing happen.
Exactly. They have that, which kind of makes sense because
it's you're cold. In. What else you gonna do?
Right. Yeah.
I know if I was out there, I would have to lean all the time. No offense to my Alaskan natives. Please buy my wine. I'm sorry.
Right. Well, look, the thinking is we don't have that many Alaskan viewers, so you don't have to worry about. And I doubt if their cousins live down here also.
You got cousins in them here,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
No, Alaska is wonderful. Actually, I do a lot of work with Native American communities in the Midwest, and when we do annual like contracting conferences and things like that, I do meet a lot of Alaskan natives in terms of Native Americans. So it is my hope that through those connections that I'll continue to expand across the United States as best as possible. As a part of our future expansion, we are looking to open up a physical tasting room, a version of a tasting room. We'll just say that. More details to come in 2022. So we're currently in lease negotiations for a space in Loudoun County. But we are also future planning, looking at land. So you know what that means.
Oh, yeah. That's an endeavor.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Slowly but surely, exponential growth. Right now, we're retail only. So I do see the user comment. What about wine tastings? We do host a monthly wine tasting event. Again, subscribe to our website. Definitely follow us on social media. If you're not the website subscribe and type, that's fine. Whatever your preference. But that's how you find out about the different tasting events. Our tasting events always come with an actual food pairing. So more than a notion. Because I don't know about you, but I don't eat cheese and crackers for dinner unless my invoices didn't hit that month. That's the only time you catch me doing it. Normally, I'm going to eat something with flavor, okay? So when we do wine pairings, we want to make sure that we're pairing it with flavor. So I work with 5 different chefs, and the chefs usually prepare a small bite that we get to enjoy and savor. So we do things like jerk chicken wings, coconut curry. We do like smoked halibut, shrimp and salmon. We did one event where we had shrimp and lobster pasta. So you don't get a full-size plate, because it's not dinner, but but you're gonna get a
right.
night
It's a tasting.
it. Exactly.
It is a tasting.
So
and there's no chicken wings.
We do have chicken wings. We do have chicken wings. They're more like the party wings. Sometimes you might get a Chick-fil-A nugget size wing.
That's fine. that is fine.
Yeah, but we really want you to have the experience of what would it be like if I had a bottle of 50 Leven with my dinner. That's what we want to simulate.
Which is from the beginning, you are making wine for food. This
yes,
is definitely your food wine. I'm quite sure you have some porch sipping wine too, but this is definitely.
So would now be a good time for my breaking news?
Oh, please. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay, breaking news. Dun, 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 dun. Is there music? No, that's kind of dramatic. Anyway, happy breaking news sound effect right there. So I am adding 3 additional wines to the collection. So right now we have 5.
Okay.
So we'll be adding 3 additional wines. We'll have a white port that'll be coming out in the collection. We'll have an apple wine that'll be coming out in the collection. So for my sweet wine drinkers, that's your porch sipping apple wine. Forget the mimosas for brunch. You can have that. It's wonderful. We did a tasting event. We called it the Super Bowl pregame.
Okay.
On Saturday, where we did a wine and popcorn pairing. Shout out to Popcorn Monkey in Manassas, Virginia. Another Black-owned business, dope and dynamic. They do gourmet popcorn blends. Amazing. So he did 5 custom blends for our wine tasting event, which was awesome. So my winemaking partner brought the apple wine from the tank for the group to taste it, because it's almost at the point where we call it finished cooking. And everyone loved it. So that's going to be perfect for summer. So that'll be out in May timeframe, just in time for Mother's Day brunch events and summer season. And then we'll add a bold red. We're going to have a Petite Verdot varietal added to the collection. So that'll be out this spring as well. Yep.
That is Petite Verdot is one of my favorites.
Yeah, man.
So I will be there. I will be there. For those, I put the correct website. First, I put the wrong website.
That's okay.
I put the correct website in the chat. So if you want to follow Kendra Dion, you can go to our website, and also the events that she was talking about. Those are all listed on her website as well.
Oh, I just figured out that there's a whole comments button over here, and I can see the chat. Y'all don't judge me. I'm a little slow. That's not hard. I'm doing the best I can.
So you are a fairly new winemaker. What has been, or what have been, some of your challenges?
Ooh, I would say, and I'm being 100% transparent, the biggest challenge that I've faced so far in my wine journey has been me. It has been me. I am confident in a lot of things, but this industry did not have a lot of places for me to hide. I could not hide my insecurities. I could not hide the things that I did not know. I could not hide my personality. I couldn't hide anything. And I did not blend in the traditional wine circles, right? So I would allow my insecurities to make me play background in a lot of different situations. I wouldn't put myself out there because I was afraid of the wine snobs coming after me. I call it the wine snob mob coming after me, asking me complicated questions, or, what is the pH balance of the soil that you grow your grapes in? I don't know, things like that. I was terrified of that. I thought that people would come for me, if you will, and my insecurity would not allow myself or allow me to put myself out there as much as I could have or should have in the beginning. My mentor told me, he was like, you are the brand. You are the business, and the people who will support you because you show up as you. Don't try to be someone else, and don't try to play to them. They are them, you be you. I don't know what happened to me when he said those words. I knew those things. I told my daughter those things before I sent her off to college, but it didn't resonate with me until it was almost like he gave me permission to show up authentically as Kendra.
Right.
Country, little bit of city, little bit of HBCU. Favorite song is Between Nuck If You Buck and Praise Is What I Do. That's me. That is who I am. You know, I'm saved, but I drink, I cuss a little. That's just me. I'm not perfect. I'm not polished. I'm not pristine. I love a good hoodie and a ponytail over makeup and straight hair any day. That's
Yes.
me. That is me. I love dressing up, but give me some sneakers and a sweatsuit and a bottle, not a glass, a bottle, judge yourself, of wine. And I'm happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is me. And I needed to be able to show up in this space as a boss, as a business owner, but as Kendra and not a representative who was trying to fit into a social class that wasn't designed for me. So I'm creating my own space. And I love the fact that organizations like the Roots Fund and the Hugh Society and all these really dope and dynamic winemakers and wine brands of color are making a place for us to show up authentically in this arena. I love
agree.
it.
I definitely agree. Yes. So you talk about potentially there could be a tasting room in the future.
Yes.
Which is more than a notion. What other things do you see in the future for 50 Leven?
Woo! So I would not be true to myself if I did not have business incubation and business launch resources in the works for 50 Leven. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to open up the lanes and open up the playing field for other people, other entrepreneurs to enter into this market space. Wine making is not for everyone. This is it's more than a notion, right? It's not easy. Of course, there's all kinds of other things you can do to shortcut the shortcut, but there's no shortcut to delivering a quality product that's not only palatable, but that has staying power, that can stick around for a long time. But there are places in this industry for so many different professions, so many different businesses, from branding to marketing to graphic design to supplies and supply chain logistics to distribution and sales to restaurants, hospitality, customer service, so many different avenues. I really want to create a space where we are exposed to these types of opportunities and we learn how to do business in this sphere, right? So that we're not just on the outside looking in from a consumer standpoint, but that we've got feet on the ground in this industry where we can buy from ourselves, we can support one another, and continue to help more businesses launch. So I am blending my first business of business development consulting, helping small and medium-sized businesses grow and explore new market spaces. I'm blending that with the wine, no pun intended, or maybe intended.
Right.
To create some really dope and dynamic opportunities. So 50 Leven opportunities for the people.
I think that's wonderful. There continues to be an outcry for more distributors.
Yes.
And the market is rich. There aren't a lot of distributors for small labels.
Yeah.
And it's difficult for that. So if you have that, and just people learning the business, the 3 levels of wine and production and distribution and sales, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so that's what we want to do. So I partner with a nonprofit organization called the New Ag School, and the New Ag School is all about agricultural education and teaching all the ways of the farm, how to create agri careers, ag business, ag tourism, all of those different things, and even something so simple as creating workforce pathways. As I said, that's how I started my journey, is supporting the workforce component of agricultural businesses. There's not a lot of us represented in tasting rooms, right? So why is that? What is it about it? Is it because we don't live near wineries, or is because we're intimidated by wineries? I know a lot of wineries who have reached out to me, not from a disrespectful place to say, Kendra, we would love to do more minority outreach and hire more minority and diverse candidates from every single socioeconomic status and protected category that you can think of. But the candidate pool and the applicant pool is small. So me nerding out again, I want to know, why are minorities not applying for these types of positions? It's a game changer when you are able to work in the industry and be surrounded by it. Even if you're not a wine expert, you can learn so much by just being in the room. So many times we miss the opportunities to learn on the job because we won't even enter the room. Right. So I want to make sure that we're opening up pathways so that when people are looking at different careers and different professions, and all of our young, amazing young people who are graduating from our nation's prestigious HBCUs with degrees in hospitality management, business management, supply chain logistics. I mean, you pick it, right? Are we looking at this industry as a viable career option for ourselves? And most of the time, that answer is no. I would love to see that. I would love to see more minorities interning at wineries, learning the industry, learning the ins and outs, so that we can take, as more and more winemakers and vineyards owned by people of color come online, we can hire general managers who look like us. How dope and dynamic would it be to have an entire tasting room staff of just melanin magic and excellence, you know, when you walk into the room? That's what I want to see. That's where 50 Leven is headed.
Excellent. So we only have a few more minutes. So
yes, ma'am.
I would like to play a little game with you.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me take a sip. Go for it.
So it's really easy. So since your wine leads with the food, I want to play a little game of what would you pair with this?
Ooh,
so I'll throw out a food and you will throw out a wine.
Now I'm biased with my wines, but okay, we're gonna do this.
Okay. So stir fried shrimp and vegetables.
Ginger or soy base?
Ooh, ginger. Let's do ginger.
50 Leven stride pear.
And why is that?
The 50 Leven stride pear is 70% Asian pear, 30% American pear with just 1% residual sugar, so it won't compete. And that pear flavor, something about pear and Asian cuisine that just elevates it to a whole nother level. So you won't lose the characteristics of the wine competing with that saltiness and that bright ginger flavor. I would do that all day.
Okay. Fiddle faddle popcorn.
Okay, for me, I would do that with either the 50 Leven stride pear or the 50 Leven petite mansing. Both of them are white. The petite mansing, 0 residual sugar, gives you tropical notes, but with a fiddle faddle or caramel based, it's gonna give you those butter tones that complement it just like a smooth Chardonnay. So if you're not using the 50 Leven collection or sipping on my stuff, Chardonnay. Absolutely. Give you that butter, that nice, or a dry Riesling. I would all day. Yep.
Okay. Let's say, I'll do something easy. A quiche Lorraine.
Ooh, we going brunch now. Quiche Lorraine. That's smoky. I'm getting smoky from the quiche Lorraine. I would take the quiche Lorraine because I'm one of those people that'll do breakfast for dinner. I would probably do it with what I'm sipping on now. I would go Heritage because Heritage is going to give you those deep notes. Those you're going to get some smokiness in that. So I think it would complement the smokiness of that quiche Lorraine well. Most people wouldn't do like eggs in a red wine, but I think, hey, go with what you know. It's those flavor profiles for me, for sure.
I'm so glad you said that because people get, they hear white meat with white wine and then they just get stuck there and they never move past that. So it really is important to look at those flavor profiles. Okay, so 2 more: country ham and gravy.
Oh, she country. I like it. Okay, country ham and gravy. I would definitely do a wine that's going to give you more smoke vibes. Me personally, I would probably do that with a nice Cabernet Sauvignon, something that's probably more medium body than full body, so that you're not giving all that tannic acid away, competing with the salt of that wine, because that might be a blood pressure nightmare if you got high blood pressure or borderline. I'm just saying, keep it in 100. Or the 50 Leven Heritage, for sure, all day.
Okay, so the last one I would say is pecan pie, chocolate pecan pie.
Okay, so you're trying to give us sugar diabetes. Okay, chocolate pecan pie. I'm gonna have to take this one to the motherland. And we're going to give you that Wakanda Forever. I'm going to give you that 50 Leven Vibranium, which is that port style wine, because that one is going to give you those caramelized smoke rings and a little hint of chocolate swirl mixed in that. It is a dessert wine, but I think that paired with a good cigar and that chocolate pecan pie, honey. Yeah, that's where we going. If you're going to have dessert, have it all day.
Exactly.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, okay, so I put up the correct website, and thank you who also put it in the chat. I put it on the comments here. Please tell us once again on all of your media handles how to reach out to you.
Absolutely. So we are at 50 Leven Wine on Facebook, on IG. We're not in the Twitter sphere yet, but on those platforms, that's where we are. If you'd love to find out about some of our tasting events or pop-up events, or just kind of see where we're going to be next, definitely make sure you subscribe to our website or follow us on one of those channels, because we're always posting where we are in the community. If you do order a bottle of the wine, be sure to post it online and tag us in it. Anytime you tag us, we're going to reshare it in our stories, because we love our customers and we love when our customers love to shout out our products. So definitely do that. I'll also share that in January, we launched the 50 Leven Wine Club, which is a quarterly distribution. You get 3 bottles. And in our spring release, you're going to get a sneak preview of some of our new wines in the collection. Wink, wink. So you don't want to miss out on that. So we got a lot of great things popping. So be sure to follow us on all of our social media channels, and know that I'm not the only one holding it down in Virginia. Shout out to Gwen at Shoe Crazy Wines. Shout out to Chris and Ricky and that whole crew over at Shaco Wines out of Richmond. Shout out to my girl Saida Armstrong with Sweet Finds Vineyard. It's a lot of us out here in this space, y'all. We are holding it down for VA. So be sure to check out all the Black winemakers in Virginia, because we're doing the doggone thing out here.
That is wonderful. And I just have a couple church announcements.
Come on, church.
So this month, as we know, is Black History Month, and we have put the challenge out there to drink Black this month. So let me know how it's going. Put it in the chat. Put it on the Wine Concierge site or the Shades of Vino site. And if you are unsure where you can find Black winemakers, we have one here. We also posted a list on the Shades of Vino site and the Wine Concierge. We feature Black winemakers, and we're having a sale on all of our Black winemakers, which usually we don't do that. So there is a sale, and on some of the wines you can get up to 30% off.
Oh, nice.
And then the last thing I wanted to share in our church announcements is that we are planning our spring allocation, and the theme of that spring allocation is Women Run the Vineyards. And so we are going to have all women winemakers or owners that is in this collection. So if you are interested in becoming a member of Shades of Vino, please go to the website and sign up. I think you're going to love the collection. I just have a confirmation that one of the winemakers who's going to be in the collection will be on Wine Lovers Wednesday next week. So you'll get to preview one of the wines for March. So again, thank you so much, fam, for joining us. Thank you, Kendra Dion. It has been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure chatting with you. It's like chatting with one of my girlfriends. So
that's what it's supposed to be like, one glass at a time. I'm here for it.
There you go. So thank you guys so much and have a great rest of your week and a great weekend. Take care.
Bye, everyone.